What's going on, everybody? I'm Izzy.
And I'm Fitty.
This is How We Talk
Podcast.
I like that one. That was a double, yeah. Today in studio,
that we do it together.
That is. That was very nice. I didn't know you had such a sweet voice.
Sometimes.
Today we have a man that wears many hats, right? He's an author, which I just found that out, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
An actor, stuntman. Are those the same thing?
Nope.
Okay, actor and stuntman. He gets 3. Okay. For the longest time, I didn't know his name because I knew him as Shihan. And just out of respect, I'm going to just call him Shihan. But his name is Chris Casamassa.
Yeah.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Hey, well, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. So, Shihan, we'll go back to Shihan real quick. He is my son's Shihan. And for the longest time, I didn't know, is it just Shihan? Mm-hmm. Is that the title? What does Shihan mean?
It's master instructor.
Okay.
So it's like a teacher's teacher.
Oh, okay,
so I've been doing this
cool.
for so long now that I've gone up through the top levels.
So you're a teacher's teacher.
I'm a teacher's teacher.
Nice.
Wow.
Is that the top?
In our system, it's Shihan Sensei, which is like the grandmaster of our system. So it's Sensei would be the first part of black belt. Then you're in black belt for a number of years and you work your way up to degrees of that. Become a Shihan, and then there's only one in our system. There's only one Shihan Sensei, so there's just one. Like I always tell everybody, I'm the medium cheese. My dad, who's the founder of our system, he's the big cheese.
Oh, okay. So it's your father.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Right on.
Is it like an empire where he gets dethroned?
No, there's really only two. Well, the answer to your question is no. The only way I could become a Shihan Sensei would be if he dies or retires. Mm-hmm. Both of those things I don't want to have happen anytime soon. So I'm cool with where I'm at.
Okay.
Right. Awesome. How long have you been in karate?
I've been in the martial arts since I was 4 years old. So that puts me at about 127 years in dog years. But yeah, all my life, ever since I don't really remember wearing diapers. I remember wearing a little uniform and running around chasing my dad around the school. So.
Yeah.
Was that the only art, or did you do any sports or anything?
I did sports. I played football, track and field, wrestling, and I, was great. I lettered in wrestling because it's so close to what we do with the grappling and the throws and the takedowns. So that was a kind of a natural thing for me. And in football, it was awesome. I got to ride the pine, so I played a lot of bench. Yeah. I was a very late bloomer, and I was like the shortest guy on our team, and so it was fun. It was a good experience. But yeah, I did that, and I've studied other styles of martial arts as well instead of just our style.
Yeah. What kind of styles did you study?
Judo. So we've done judo. I did a style called Ishinryu, which is an Okinawan style of martial arts.
Oh, wow.
And then our style, Red Dragon Karate, is a combination of the 7 major styles of martial arts. So I'm pretty well versed in a variety of styles.
Yeah. The Red Dragon, is that the Red Dragon that I remember from? Has it always been in this area?
Yes. Yeah.
Damn, so I remember Red Dragon.
Yeah, we've been around since 1965. So this is our 54th year in business.
Is it franchise or one?
Nope. It's we have 12 locations right now, but each of the people who own one of our locations is one of either my dad's or mine, our original black belts. Yeah. So like you can't just open a Red Dragon school. You got to come up through our system and then learn it and master it. And then we teach you how to teach, which is a whole nother art form in itself. Like there's, it's being a black belt is one thing, but being able to teach as a black belt, that's a whole different art form.
Yeah.
So we run you through the process. We actually have an instructor college and a business training clinic they go through. And then once you've gone through all those steps, then you can open a Red Dragon Karate school.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat, man.
That is cool.
That's pretty neat. You know who came up in his dojo?
Chico
Villatoro.
Chico Villatoro.
Mm-hmm. He was on the show.
Yeah, we had him on the show. He's got his dojo would be Bushido martial arts in
Covina.
In downtown.
Very cool guy.
Yeah.
No, I like seeing. I like watching him because I'm like, oh, this guy's a lot older than me, and I can't move like he does. You still got it, man.
Yeah.
And Levi, my son Levi, he talks about him all the time, and Shihan said this, and she hasn't. I was like, yeah, that's right. That. Something good to live by,
right?
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for being that model, that role model for him. I wanted to talk about a few things. One, your what's the word? Uncanny resemblance to Mr. Stark.
I wasn't asked. Were you an Iron Man?
No, that's my hashtag on Instagram. I'm not Iron Man, but I get that at least once or twice a day, which is cool. Like I take it as a compliment. So yeah, a lot of people say they look. You look just like Iron Man. So hey, Robert Downey Jr., if you're listening, like I can make you look even better in that Iron Man suit with the stuff that I can do.
Nice. You did a lot of stunt work and acting, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Your what would you say is your biggest role?
Well, by far, the thing I get recognized for the most, besides looking like Robert Downey Jr., is I played the character Scorpion in the Mortal Kombat franchise. So I was in the movie, I was in the TV series, I was in the even the animated series. So almost every incarnation of the Mortal Kombat, I've had the opportunity and the good fortune to be carrying on the Scorpion legacy.
Yeah.
So that's probably the thing that I'm most known for, and I'm most appreciative for, because it was one of my first big breakthrough roles.
Right.
So it was an awesome experience.
Yeah. That's cool. That's very cool. I was gonna ask because did the video game just come out?
The new one, yeah.
The new video game. Did you have any a role in any of that?
No, but I had a role at the VIP premiere.
I saw that. Yeah. So I saw that on your Instagram. You know what was cool is you took a video of the little Scorpion, it's clay model, but that guy who makes those. He makes a whole arrangement of characters and stuff, and Joe Rogan has like a bunch of those characters, and he had the Scorpion one too. Yeah. I thought that was pretty cool that they made that, and I see all your fan art and stuff, and I was like, that's gotta feel cool, right? Like
it is. Listen, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate and love the fans that have kept. I mean, if you think about it, the video game came out in the early '90s. The movie came out in the mid '90s, and the other movie came out a little bit after that. So it's been 25 years of just fan support, which is awesome. I mean, besides Star Wars, there's not really another franchise that's got that kind of legacy and longevity. So like the fans they send me this cool, and there's so many great artists that are out there, and they're just keeping it going and doing it and posting it up there. So man, it's great.
Yeah, definitely a legacy.
What was your favorite character using Mortal Kombat?
Scorpion or Sub-Zero.
Me too.
Yeah, always.
It was always Scorpion or Sub-Zero. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Did you guys say Sub-Zero? All right, I gotta go. Thanks. Thanks for having me on your show. I'm out.
Thank you again. This is How We Talk Podcast.
Yeah, we don't filter anything.
Yeah, no. But yeah, definitely, dude.
We don't fact check either. Is there some beef between Sub-Zero and
well, in the game, yeah.
No, Scorpion was my favorite, and I was really pissed off that I was gonna say Nicolas Cage that he ended you in the movie. I was pretty pissed off.
Johnny Cage. Yeah, well, here's the great thing about Scorpion. He's immortal. So they can kill me as much as they want. I always get to come back.
Yeah.
Nice.
You know, and another thing, you're talking about the longevity that you have as Scorpion. Has anyone ever played Scorpion in anything else? Or have you like you said, you
No, they've had they did a web series a couple of years ago that I was not involved with. So they had another actor do that. And then the original guy that did Scorpion, the motion capture for it in the original game. Yeah. I think his name was Daniel Pacina, was the guy that originally did it for the video game before the video game became a movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I've got the opportunity to do all the really cool stuff.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you too, if you did the mocap suit and all that stuff.
No, I've done mocap for other films, but not for the Mortal Kombat.
That's cool. What other films have you
worked on? So if the Mortal Kombat guys are listening, like you want to just be able to rock some good PR with the original OG Scorpion in your next mocap, I'm just saying, like, call the How We Talk guys and they'll hook you up.
Yeah, he's available. Definitely. We'll get you guys in contact with Chris.
Definitely.
No, you know what I remember? I don't remember which one came first, if it was Mortal Kombat or was it was it called the Masters?
WMAC Masters?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were close. So we had finished filming the Mortal Kombat movie, and then I got the call to go do WMAC Masters. It went into production, and the pilot for that actually came out before the movie did.
Oh, okay.
Then the movie came out, and then the series came out, I think just a few months, about 6 months after the film launched.
Because there was a few of those guys that were in the Mortal Kombat
That's
movie,
right?
Yeah, because I was like, I remember watching that thing. Me and my brother used to watch it all the time.
Yeah.
We loved it. It was the best, dude, because we were wrestling fans. Yeah. So for me to watch something like that, I thought it was the best. My favorites were Red Dragon, and the other guy was called Warlock.
Yeah.
That guy was my favorite, and he was also in Mortal Kombat. You remember him in Mortal Kombat?
Yeah.
Black guy with the long hair.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the machine.
Was it the
Hakeem the Machine?
The
Yeah.
Machine. That's right.
Like, you're going back, man. Thank you for remembering all that. That's awesome.
No, I remember that.
WMAC, yeah.
Yeah, he always reminded me of Snoop Dogg on steroids.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, he's ripped. And still to this day, like he's over 50 now, but I saw him. He's still ripped, man. He keeps himself in shape, yeah.
He was also martial artist, right?
Yeah, he's a full up legit. He was a number one fighter on the pro circuit.
Yeah.
So, he's the real deal.
Yeah, that was some good stuff. I don't know if you remember that.
No.
Oh, dude, that was...
It's on
my
YouTube.
favorite.
If you type in WMAC Masters on
so
YouTube,
the whole
you get all the whole series.
It was only like one season though, right?
No, we did two and a half seasons. Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like it was really short, but oh man, that would be cool if we guys could do that again. That'd be pretty.
About 5 years ago, I got a call from some of the old producers of the show that were trying to rebrand it and bring it back. But it just, the Hollywood business is the Hollywood business. So
it's tough. I'm
it's
sure
tough.
it
never came back. But there was a glimmer. There was a glimmer of hope for a second. But it's still, it's a good show. It showcased the mental aspects of what the martial arts is about, because so many people think that, hey, martial arts is just about punching people in the face or kicking them, and it's not. Like, there's a whole mental discipline that goes along with it, because you're actually learning something that could end someone's life. So if you don't have the mental focus and clarity with it, then you're going to end up doing bad things, and that's not what the martial arts is all about. So it was cool because it showcased those virtues of the martial arts, but still we got to do a bunch of badass fighting every week.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
And I really think that a show, that's my opinion, and it's just one guy, but I think it would hold up.
Yeah.
That if you go back and look at it, you're going to be into it, and you're going to be asking for it too.
Yeah.
We should probably start something like that on the How We Talk podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Start petitioning for
That's
it.
it.
Yeah.
No, it's a really good show. I really miss that show.
That's how anything starts.
Yeah.
With one.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
But just like you mentioned though, like it teaches you that mental of it, right? How to hold back,
That's
right? Because a lot of these people that do martial arts, and some that don't have the discipline, will take advantage of it and start abusing it and start, that's when the bullying, right? I'm bigger, I'm tougher, I know how to hit you, and they start doing it.
Yeah. It's the classic Spider-Man, right? With great power comes great responsibility. Exactly. And when you learn martial arts, real martial arts, it gives you a great power. So you can use it the right way, or you can abuse it. It all depends who teaches it to you and what you do with that.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, that's good.
Like Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
There you go.
Right? Exactly like that. We were just talking about that.
The whole discipline side of it, do you teach, and this is probably a dumb question. No, not really.
There's no such thing as a dumb question.
But like,
sometimes.
Eating habits, right?
Yep.
Do you teach any part of that also?
The short answer is no, unless the parents ask us to help with that, right? So we have spin-off programs. Like we have two of them. One is called Kick and Fit Kids, and the other one is the Kick and Fit Challenge. One's for kids, one's for adults. So it's essentially a 6-week boot camp that is a little bit of martial arts, but it's more about fitness and health, and it's really an education process both for the child and the parent, so that they learn how to eat right. So one of the things that I tell everybody is this: I don't believe in diets, because diets are a short-term solution to a long-term problem.
Right.
Some diets do work because it's a short term, right? And as long as I follow that diet, then I'm going to have the weight off. But as soon as I stop, I go right back to where I was. But if I was taught and learned how to eat properly 24/7, 365, I don't ever have to be on a diet. I just have to have that knowledge and education. Like when I was in school, I was taught the food pyramid. That was about it.
Yeah.
Most parents that I meet have that knowledge, or maybe even a little less, so they don't know what to do. No, there's the reason that obesity is an epidemic in this country isn't the fault of fast food. It's the fault of lack of education of what that fast food will do to you, right? Just like cigarettes. Like people go, oh, well, nobody knew cigarettes were bad for you. Well, that's a crock of baloney. Like, you knew that going in, but it wasn't until years and years and years later that whole thing came out. And oh yes, we knew all along. Same thing with fast food. Like I'm not going to sit here and lie. Like I eat fast food. I love In-N-Out. Dude, I'm gonna rock a double-double with animal style with chopped chilies all day long. Yeah. Like that's one of my favorite like splurge meals. I'll do that, but it's just I don't do it every single day. You know what I mean? So that's it. Right. And for any parent that's listening or watching, like if your kid's overweight, it's not your fault. Like you just didn't know better, or you got too busy, but you can get the knowledge. Like you don't need me. Like you could Google like the top 10 ways to to feed your kid, and you'll come up with 8,000 freaking articles. It's one of the great things about the internet. It's so powerful nowadays. But for parents that ask and the parents that want to do it, we have a program, we put them in there, and we guarantee that they'll lose at least 10 pounds in 6 weeks, or we give them their money back. Oh, and in the 15 years we've been running that program, we have never, ever had to refund anyone because they've always lost that much weight and more. Like I've had some kids lose 20, 25 pounds in 6 weeks.
Wow.
Just crush it. But the best part is they come back to me 3, 4, 5 months later, they're still lean.
Yeah.
Because they're like, yeah, you just taught me how to eat and what to eat. And
right.
You don't need to work. That's the other thing too, is everything. I got to work out every day. That's, can you curse on this show?
Yeah. Of course.
All right. So that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Right. You don't have to work out every single day. If you're eating properly, you're eating. And the real thing is it's 5 to 6 small meals. It's not 3 meals. Or
right.
Like some people go the opposite. Like I'll just eat 1 meal a day. Well, now your body goes into starvation mode. So you could eat the leanest, healthiest food in the world. Your body's going to hold on to it as fat, because the great thing about our bodies is they're the best survival tools ever created.
Yeah.
So you only give it a certain amount of food, it's going to do what it needs to do to adapt to survive. So you eat those 5 or 6 small meals a day. You work out 1, maybe 2, 3 days a week, 30 minutes, 45 minutes a day. Like there's really hardly anybody on the planet that can say they don't have that kind of time.
Right.
And again, now with technology, they have these things like the Tonal app, or these online apps that you don't even need to go to a studio. I shouldn't even say this. I'm putting myself out of business. But listen, we're going to be there to help you, coach you, and guide you all through the process.
Yeah.
But the tools and the resources for the people that really want it are there. So I know it was a super long answer to a very short question. So it's part of what we do, but unless someone specifically says, hey, can you help me or my kid get in shape by losing some weight, then we have a program to help them do that.
And I think it's one of the things that he said was very important is in order for you to get started is accepting it. And then another thing, though, is what you said was, it's not your fault. You just weren't educated about it. And that's very important, because there's a lot of people that hold that guilt and they go, why am I going to do it? Because they just feel guilty, and it's like, why, but a wrong and a wrong, the whole doesn't make it right. But
yeah, man, I get it's funny too, because people are they're defensive. So you get parents and they say, yeah, I think my kid's overweight. Clearly, like their kid's 20, like there's no guessing at that moment.
Yeah.
Like, but they don't want to accept it because it's a fear of failure, right? If I tell you my kid's fat, then that means as a parent I'm a failure.
Right.
So I need parents to overcome, like, I just want to say the F word, but I'm not gonna, like, just F it and just like
language.
Dude, if your kid's overweight, your kid's overweight. Mm-hmm. I've got the tools and the resources to help them. You don't even need me. You can get it on the internet, but you have to take action, right? Yeah. The biggest challenge that parents have is it's easier to not do it than to move forward and do the right thing and to make that happen, right? Because here's like, I'm not making this up. It's all science, right? It's all stats with the medical industry. High blood pressure, risk of stroke, diabetes, heart attacks. Those are things that are normally associated with adults. They're happening to kids 10 years old, 11 years old, because they're so badly overweight, and the parents won't do anything about it because they don't want to admit that they screwed up. Yeah. Like I screw up all the time. Like we're all human. No one's perfect. Mm-hmm. So whether I'm a black belt or an actor, doesn't matter. I'll make mistakes. But the difference is you've just got to own up to them and just accept it. Or like I said earlier, you just didn't know any better.
Yeah.
I never really learned. I had to get educated on diet, on exercise, on eating, on food, on vitamins, nutrition.
Yeah.
Stuff that's all doesn't come to you in junior high or high school.
Yeah. And when you have a kid, it's no longer about you anymore. It's about them. Like you did your thing, and you still have time to do it for yourself. I mean, do it together as a family. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things that we try to practice here at the house too. And we're still to this day. I mean, my kids, when he's not playing sports, he slacks off, and then we're somewhat to blame too because we don't put him out there. But that's something that, again, I just forget. I dropped the ball, and I have to blame myself. Yeah. So that's true.
Do you go to schools and talk about this stuff?
I do. I actually go to public and private schools literally all over the United States. And I do, not only my bully prevention talks, but we do things on fitness and exercise and health. And that's another thing, right? With all the funding in public schools being taken out and out and out, the thing they take away first is physical education, right? The fact that there's not standardized or consistent physical education in schools for kids across the board, which again, science has proven that the more people exercise, the more stimulated their brain gets, the more they learn. Like grade point averages literally drop when they take PE out of schools. Like they've done study after study after study, and I cite some of those studies in my book about how this is affecting our communities and the people who will grow up to become our future leaders because they're just not getting the access to just getting outside and getting physically active.
Yeah.
Right. What do you think? Is that due to money?
Honestly, I don't
Finances?
I don't know the whole logic behind what they're doing. It's maybe the easiest thing for a school to cut. I'm not sure how that whole thing works. I just know the end result of what happens.
That's
when
a
it
whole
goes
nother
away.
topic right now
Yeah.
with the teachers and the schools, man.
Yeah.
They put money towards like administrators. That there's like way more administrators than there are schools. You know what I mean? Just doesn't make sense. So that's a whole nother topic. We're gonna have to have
Yeah.
another episode about that.
But I think we can all agree that teachers should be paid more.
oh yeah, I agree.
yeah, for sure.
But there's a difference between teachers and administrators.
100%.
There's a big difference. Okay.
Yeah.
100%. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, but you mentioned bullying. I did read something that you had a project going on, right? For bullying. Mm-hmm. There's a program that you have, right?
Yep.
Can you
Yeah.
talk a little bit about that.
So the Bully Proof for Life program is that, which is, there's the epidemic of overweight and obese kids. And now the worst one is happening with bullying, right? And listen, we all got bullied when we were kids. Just what happens with today with social media and the internet, it's just exposing it more. Like it's always been there. It wasn't something that just occurred. It's not a freak phenomenon.
Yeah.
This has been going on since before I was a kid, right? But now with social media, like it's instant, and then a million people see it. So what we're trying to do, and we're not trying, but we are doing it, is we're going around to all the local schools and people and come in and talk to them. And what I do, which is the other misconception, is I don't teach people how to fight.
Yeah.
Like there's a self-defense component of what I do when I go to these schools, but it's like 10 minutes of an hour and a half long presentation. It's more like the fitness, it's education. So there's two types of kids in any given school. One who is being bullied and one who potentially could be or is bullying. What I do on my talk is I go through, these are the traits associated with bullying. And it's so cool to see the kids' eyes open wide when I start talking about things like social bullying, where they're excluding one kid out of a group. And I'm telling them, look, if you're doing this, then you're running down that path of being a bully. Or if they're just, flipping a kid's hat off their head, or little things like that, they don't realize leads down that path. Or they think it's a little thing, but to that kid, it's not. And then maybe that kid had a bad day at home. Maybe he got beat from his parents by being in trouble or whatever it is. So these things, I call it the volcano thing. Like people don't just erupt.
Yeah.
Like there's little warning signs that go off throughout the course of the day. So I teach them how to see and respond to those warning signs, how to stay away from kids that are doing those warning signs, and then how to identify them in themselves. Because there's some kids that it takes a lot to get them mad, and there's some kids you look at them sideways like, what's wrong with you?
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's part of the education process of what we're doing, and it's really helped. Like our goal, our mission of Bully Proof for Life is to have 1 million kids go through our program and have them become Bully Proof certified by the year 2025. So right now we're just over 50,000 kids that we've helped on our quest to do 1 million.
Wow.
That's cool.
You got a long way to go.
I got a long way to go. That's true.
So to be certified, what do they go through the?
They go through the course with me, and then basically I give them like a little exam at the end. Like I call it the lightning round.
Yeah.
So I go through in there, I'm rapid fire, I'm asking them questions, get them to do a whole bunch of things, and then I wrap it all around a martial arts style class. So they're showing great discipline and great focus and commitment to what I'm doing. They're showing confidence in themselves, and it's so great. Like the teachers at all the schools I go to, they always look at me and go like, "How did you do that?"
Yeah.
They think I'm a magician because I'll get 500 kids to stand up straight and do a big yell at the same time, and then be frozen in place and get them to stand that way for 4, 5, 6 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the Pied Piper effect of what we do, but it helps and it makes an impact.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that. Kids, their eyes light up because a lot of times you don't know. You flip a kid's hat and you think it's funny.
Right.
Everybody's laughing.
Right.
You're just being a clown, right? But no, to the other kid, it's different, right?
Right.
So it's good that you put it out there. You put it out there because a lot of them don't know how to identify a bully, and even when themselves are being bullies, right?
Yeah.
So that is important.
Yeah, and speaking of getting to that million, that's one of the reasons why I actually wrote the book. Like, it's going to be almost impossible for me to get out, although I'm trying, because I'm gone all the time, to get to 1 million kids. But I wrote that book so that parents would have access to the tools that they need to help their kids understand what is a bully, what isn't a bully, what traits does a bully exhibit, and how can I be better, not only at school, but at home for the parents as well. And then we put some of the kick and fit stuff in there as well. Because listen, you know this, kids are evil little bastards. That's the bottom line. Like, I teach them for a living and I love them, but it's just because they don't know better, right? Like, they'll just say, they have no filter.
Right.
So they'll just say, and again, I'm going to curse, but they'll say shit to another kid. They think it's nothing, but to that kid, it's a huge, huge impact. And
Oh yeah.
that's that's the tools of education that they need so that they understand what to do and what not to do. And that's why we're also about to launch, we have an app, a bully-proof app that you can download in the App Store or Google Play. And on there are free videos and PDFs for the parents so that they can watch them, and it's stuff that they can do with them at home. It's really cool. And then we just launched our online university so that no matter where in the world you are, you can actually go through the same presentation that I would do if I came to your school. You could go right there.
Get certified and everything?
Yeah, go right through it and do the whole thing. So that'll launch March 1st, the whole university. The app's out now, and it's got a bunch of cool downloads in it, but the university will launch on March 1st.
The name of the app is what?
Bullyproof.
Bullyproof.
Well, if you just type in Bullyproof or Bullyproof Fitness in Google Play or the iTunes Store, it'll pop right up.
Okay.
That's cool. Do you ever get students at your dojo that how you said that have characteristics of being a bully?
Yep, 100%. We get them, and that's why their parents bring them to us, which is cool because we'll fix them up.
I totally never thought about that till right now. I thought everyone was pretty much like me, like they want their kid to be productive during the day when they're not in school, or doing something like that. That's crazy. I never thought about that.
Someone want to learn how to throw a punch so they can bully.
What
is it? Do you focus most? How is it that you, or should I say, do you train that person or teach them a little different than you would someone else?
Yes, we do.
And how do you do that?
Well, so if a parent's going to like my kid's kind of being a bully and he needs to get they're bringing him to me for one specific purpose, and that is discipline, right? So we get to kind of be a surrogate parent at that moment. Maybe they don't have that role model in their life, right? There's a lot of single parents that are out there, whether they're moms or dads or single parents. They don't have that other force, right? So we get to be that for them. They look at us and, we're in our uniforms and black belts. So they're not going to get away with crap with us because we're going to keep them on the straight and narrow. It's almost like being in a military academy without the military part of it. And that's where the martial arts come from. It's a war art that was, created thousands of years ago, and it survived all this time because of that discipline and focus aspect to it. So we'll take them down a different path. Now they're going to learn the same moves and techniques, the kicks, punches, blocks, and self-defense moves, but the way that we instruct them is slightly different than a kid that comes in that is shy and introverted. Maybe they've been getting bullied, or maybe they don't have that gregarious, that outgoing personality. We help them, we call it blossom. We help them bloom into the person that they actually should be.
I told this story a few times on this podcast about Levi. I think it happened this year, right? He was getting bullied at school.
This year, huh?
And
last year.
He goes, Dad, can I ask you something? I go, yeah. He's like, how do you get out of this? And then he's like, two guys were holding my hands above my head, and one was his knees were on my feet and just holding me. And I couldn't move. I didn't know how to get out, And he's like, Shion didn't teach me that. I was like, that's like street fighting. That's like really bullying, And I honestly didn't know what to tell him. I said, look, if that ever happens again, you do anything you can to get out of it. You look at a crocodile. When a crocodile is being wrangled, it starts spinning. You do the alligator roll. You do what you need to do. And then when you get a hand free or a leg free, you defend yourself,
right,
as much as you can. But don't ever let that happen again.
It's definitely a big problem with the bullying. That's why a lot of these kids that don't aren't educated or don't know how to defend themselves do something easy as picking up a gun, and you hear unfortunate stories like that happen, or maybe not just a gun, but weapons, whatever.
Right.
But it's important, just talking about it though, putting it out there. You have your book. What was the name of your book?
Bullyproof.
Everything's bullyproof.
Everything's bullyproof.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah. So Bullyproof. The book is it's in Amazon. Bullyproof Fitness.
Is it audiobook as well, or just?
No, that's a great idea. I should actually do that. It's Kindle and paperback.
You could probably narrate it too.
I could probably narrate.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I know the guy who wrote it, so.
Okay. There you go.
Narrated by the voice of Scorpion.
There you go.
No, that's crazy. I don't know why I never thought about that. Kids going in that might have been bullies instead of being the bullied. Me in my own personal life, seeing that switch in my own son, from going maybe because he had to go to wanting to go and loving it. It was a switch. And when I saw it, I was like, and he's like, I could beat you up now, Dad. I was like, yeah, you can.
That's really cool. We call that the light bulb moment. There's that moment in every student's training on their path to black belt where we can literally see the light bulb go off over their head, where everything clicks. They get it. Some kids, it'll happen in the first couple of belts. And for most people, they got to go 5, 6, 7 belts deep before they do it. And which brings up the other point. The reason so many people don't get to black belt isn't because it's too hard. It's because the parents gave up when it got hard.
Yeah.
Right. And that's really the true test. And I always tell parents this, every parent that's ever come to me and had this conversation where they've said, hey, my kid's thinking about quitting, that kid has always made it to black belt. Right. It's the ones that don't come talk to us that we never know, because they just, I want to quit. Okay. Like, kids are like velociraptors. They're going to test the fence all the time to see what they can get away with.
Yeah.
Even my own kids went through the same process from white belt to black belt. And if anything, I was harder on them than I was on them because they're my kids.
Right.
Because my dad was hard ass on me going through it. But I knew how good it was for me. Like, I'm the end result of everything that's possible with Red Dragon Karate. That's it. So I'm the end product, right?
Yeah.
So and now I have a daughter. So I grew up with all boys. We have, 3 brothers. But now I have a daughter. And so here's the other part of it that parents don't understand, but even I'm a parent, so I go through the same process. My daughter and my son both went to my wife and said, I don't want to do karate anymore. Which broke my heart, right? Because I'm like, dude, it's in your genes. Like, it's in your blood. You don't even understand how good you're going to be. So my wife and I would have these, she would call me, they don't want to go, they're crying. I said, just get them to the door. That's all you have to do. Because I know the moment they walk through that door, everything changes. Yeah. So for any parent that's listening, like whether they're training with me or anyone else, I always tell them the same thing. Get them through the door, because they'll give you all kinds of attitude, but they won't give it to us.
Yeah.
And even my own kids were the same way. So it's just important to get them to stick to it, to finish that goal that they started. Because especially for girls, like anybody listening to my voice right now, if you have, there's a camera. Yeah. If you have a daughter, you put her in martial arts somewhere, anywhere, and do not let her stop. Because here's the other sad statistic. We're old guys. Mm-hmm. Our chance of being attacked or sexually assaulted in our lifetime is 1 in 100.
Yeah.
Do you know what it is for a girl?
No.
1 in 3. So if I put 5 girls in a circle and I said, how many of you have been attacked or sexually assaulted? The chances are 3 of them will actually raise their hands. And that sucks. Yeah. So there's times as a guy that I freaking hate being a dude because there's so many freaking bad dudes out there. Right. So now I have a daughter. I started to tell you, I have my daughter. She wanted to quit. I was like, no, because daddy can't be there with you all the time. Yeah. Yeah. And that moment's going to happen at some, now listen, I hope it never does. I honestly, truly in my heart, like I hope that nobody ever tries to take advantage of my daughter. But if that moment happens, like I kind of want to be a fly on the wall because I just want to see her beat the shit out of that dude.
Yeah.
On that, I'm going to be like, that's why I told you couldn't quit right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so I feel much safer, and I give her a lot more freedom and flexibility now. She's almost 18 now to go out and hang with her friends and do that just because I know she's got that awareness, she's got that discipline, she's got that talent, she's got that strength to fight back and survive if she has to.
Yeah. You know what's funny, because not funny, but there's an incident that happened maybe 3 months ago. An MMA fighter, right now her name escapes me, but she's an MMA fighter. She's walking the streets, and I think it was in Brazil, maybe. This guy attacks her, and she just lays him out. I mean, the pictures, dude, of the guy, look like he got stung by bumblebees all over his face. No, seriously, it was bad. But yeah, she defended herself. She who would never have known, right? But it's knowing that art, you know what I mean? Knowing how to defend yourself.
Right.
That's very important, yeah. Well,
I know I kind of went off on a tangent there. I'm just really passionate about that.
Yeah,
like especially for women and girls. Like it's an effed up world out there for them, and it sucks. Which is the other reason why I'm going out doing all these bully clinics, because I know those kids I'm talking to are going to grow up, and if I can get them to grow up and be a better person, then it makes the chance of any girls getting attacked that much less.
Oh, look, there's only positivity coming out from your way right now. Like, it's very important that you're talking about it, and then everybody else should be talking about it too. It is important. Just the safety of our children.
Yeah,
you know what
definitely.
I mean? But going back to you starting at 4 years old, what made you start? Was it your dad saying you got to get in here, or
no? Here's the cool thing, and I did the same thing with my kids. My dad said, if you want to start karate, you can, but if you start, you can't stop until you make it to black belt. That was it. So he never forced me to start. I was 4, so what the hell did I know?
Yeah.
Like I didn't know. And I just know I wanted to be around my dad. Like my dad was my hero. He's still my hero to this day. Like he's the style and the system and the martial arts that he created based on what he learned. Like he's got black belts in 10 different styles of martial arts, and he never really liked any one of them. He loved them all. So like in the early 60s, he did something that was unheard of, and he combined styles of martial arts.
Okay.
So he's like, if you want to interview somebody, that would be a great interview for you, because the stories that he had, like I'm I want to write a movie just based on the stories that he has, because back in those days, you were either a Japanese stylist or a Korean stylist or an Okinawan stylist or a Brazilian. Like, you weren't a combination. It was just the way that people had done it up to then, and he started mixing that. So people would come in and challenge him and be like, you can't do this and you can't do that, and you have to be just one style. And he would always look at him, and his thing was, this is America. I'm American. The last 4 letters of American are I can. I can do what I want. Don't tell me what to do. Get out of my studio. Yeah. So they would challenge him. And back in those days, if you lost the fight, you had to close your school.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
54 years later, we're still open.
Nice.
You know what I mean? So like his stories are pretty cool and stuff. So I wanted to be around him, and that was it. I fell in love with it at a very early age, but I'm like the unicorn, of martial arts. Like, I've never really wanted to quit, and it just was in my body and my heart, and I always wanted to teach and train, and I knew like at 4 what I wanted to do.
Yeah. You haven't stopped since.
No, I haven't stopped since, and now I'm in the part of my life where I want to give back and empower other people and get them to do the right thing.
Yeah. So throughout all the competitions and everything, how did you get into acting? Or I
got into acting through competitions. So there's a pro tour for martial artists, just like there is for golf or Indy cars or whatever. There's a circuit of events that you go to and accumulate points, and you compete against people from all around the world to do it. So I was on the pro tour for martial arts, and I wanted to compete. I got my ass kicked the first couple of years on the tour. I got better and better and better, and started learning and practicing, and then I started winning. Yeah. And winning was the best drug I ever got, because it's very addicting, right? Yeah. You get one first place, and then you're like, I got to do that again. You get another one. Then, so I ended up becoming the number 1 competitor in the world, and I held that title for like 4 years. So on like the third year of me being number 1, I was in a tournament in Atlanta, and I won the overall championship that night. And in the audience were producers from a TV show. And they came up to me and a couple other guys that had also won. And they said, hey, we're doing a show about martial arts, and we think you guys would be great for it. Yeah. So we said, yeah, we'll do it. That'll be great. And that show ended up becoming WMAC Masters out of that. So I got into it through being out on the pro tour. Yeah.
In Atlanta, I think that was the Turner Broadcasting, huh? Because that's where Turner's at? Was it the Turner Broadcasting?
I think so. Was the event was at the Georgia Dome.
Yeah. So that's like the Turner Broadcasting area. Well, back then there was it was all like areas. Like, and I know this from being a wrestling nut fan. You had like Vince McMahon in like the New York area, and then you had Turner over here. But that's where it came out from, Atlanta. Makes no sense. I mean, I just kind of threw a weird curve on that one. I'm sorry, but damn, I'm sorry, I fucked up on that one.
That's funny. Have you ever had like street fights? Mm-hmm. Like street. Yep. But being so disciplined, because I'm sure you've been disciplined since you were 4, right? Mm-hmm. Like, did you go through with it? Other than defense.
So here's the thing: all the discipline in the world doesn't defeat teenage hormone genes.
Okay, all right.
Right. So one of my biggest, like I told you earlier, I'm not perfect. Like, one of my biggest mess ups when I was a kid was the fact that I was a teenager who was already a black belt, and my dad was the owner of our school, so I had this dumbass swagger that I shouldn't have had. Yeah. And so I ended up getting in a couple of fights just because I wanted to see I wanted to feel my oats. I wanted to see what I could. All right, let's see if this shit works. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I got in a few fights in my teen years that I probably shouldn't have. Today I would have just learned to walk away from them and not deal with it. But so I've been in a few scraps in my life. Yeah. Real ones.
Yeah. I've never.
It's one of those things that's like inevitable though, right? Like in martial arts, if most people are going to get those street fights. I mean,
and then too, probably people knew.
Yeah, I'm sure you got tested a lot. Yeah, you got tested a lot.
Yeah, people knew, and so to bring it full circle now. So even though I was a black belt and I'd been doing martial arts all my life, even when I was in high school, because I was so short, I would get picked on. Like literally, I was 4 feet 3 inches tall. Like, I was short until almost my senior year. I was a super late bloomer, which is great now because I look fabulous and I'm over 50, so it's cool. But when you're young, you're like, I just want to be big like everybody. Like, there were teenagers at my school had freaking beards. I didn't even have peach fuzz. I had nothing. So I got picked on because I was the shortest kid. And back in those days, they would do a stupid thing. Like, they would try and catch the freshmen and put peanut butter under your arms and then make you run around the track when it was hot. I don't even know what that's about.
All right.
But the cool thing was I was so fast that they couldn't catch me. But when I went out for the wrestling team, the biggest wrestler on our team was our heavyweight wrestler. He was like 6'2", 220 pounds. Just a massive dude. Now I'm 4'3". I barely weigh 100 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah.
But because our studio was in the area where the high school was at, like people knew, oh, he's in karate. So of course, couldn't be a guy my size, the biggest guy on the team, because I hear you know karate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Well, show me some. Well, and that's like that's the one thing people, show me what you can do. Like I'm a performing, like, I'm a seal. Yeah. Put a ball in my nose and I'll do some tricks too. Like it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
But what happened was he kept going, oh, just do something. Now the whole wrestling team is now around because it's tryouts and everybody's there. So I go, all right, look, just hold up your hand and I'll kick your hand. And my intent was to kick his hand, but I was so fucking scared and nervous and I was, super flexible. So I missed his hand and I kicked him right in the face. Oh. And it made a sound that echoed through the whole gym. Yeah. Kicked him right in the face on accident. And then I go, I'm dead. This guy's going to literally like pick me up and snap me. I'm dead. Yeah. He grabs his hand, rubs his face, and he goes, good kick. And then like he was all of a sudden like he was my guardian from that time on. So then all my bullying fortunately stopped because now the biggest guy on the wrestling team is like, all right, don't mess with this dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was kind of cool.
That's cool.
He's like, that shit hurt. He's like, that hurt.
I was picturing imagining the sound throughout the gym.
Oh, the kick. Man, you know what? I was just thinking right now, after I threw myself off with that Turner comment, your dad, you said in the 60s, right? He came up with that style, right? Mm-hmm. I've always heard Bruce Lee in the 70s. Mm-hmm. That was the one that mixed in the whole jiu-jitsu and
he's the one that made it famous.
Yeah. There you go. He's the one that made it famous.
He's the one that made it famous.
Did your dad ever get any?
He actually did. Yep. He got to work. My dad got to work out with awesome people like Bruce Lee, Ed Parker, Chuck Norris, like the legends of legends at that time, because it was a very small community,
right?
And they were all they're martial artists and they all had different styles, but it's still a family, it's still a community. And so they would share and exchange ideas. My dad would teach some people weapons that didn't know how to do weapons. And then he'd learn, in-close boxing stuff from guys that could do in-close boxing stuff. And they all kind of shared their knowledge. And each of them kind of branched out and went and did their own thing. Like Ed Parker founded the Kempo Society. Chuck Norris has his UFAF system, which is the United Federation of Fighting Arts or something like that. So they all kind of went and did their own thing. But the mixed martial arts thing was something that my dad was really, really on the forefront of, and one of the American originators of it. So for everybody that's listening that has a mixed martial arts school today, I just want to say, you're welcome.
No, seriously, that was that foundation, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Especially...
because he got to start in the Marine Corps. When he was in the Marines, he was stationed in Japan, and he learned at the Kodokan, which is the original judo training hall there, and that's where he fell in love with the martial arts.
Mm-hmm. And did you guys grow up here in Glendora? Is this or this area?
Pretty much. We're from the East Coast. Okay. My dad was born in New York and raised in Pennsylvania, and then we moved out here into California in 1972, I think. So I was 5 or 6 years old at that point. So I've pretty much been out here all my life. Yeah.
Right on.
That's cool. I was going to ask two things and I forgot one of them.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But
I did that to you. Turner Broadcasting.
Turner messed it all up.
How do you usually close out your speaking engagements, as far as like a word of wisdom or maybe a last note to take?
Well, it would depend on what I'm doing, right? Because like I'll go speak to business owners on how they can better run their business and do that. I'll go speak to kids at schools on bullying or fitness. So it really all depends. Like I don't have a catchphrase except for "get over here," but it's just all the wisdom just kind of flows into the moment.
Yeah, that's cool.
So were you the actual voice of the Get Over Here? Was that your voice?
In the movie, no. They actually used the guy who created the game, which is Ed Boon and John Tobias. So they did the actual voice because they wanted to stay as true to the game as possible when it came out. But when we did the TV series or when we did the animated series, I got to do the voice for it. For that, I just kept begging. I'm like, let me do it. So they were kind enough to let me do it there.
Nice. That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. That's crazy,
dude, this is great. This is great stuff. I think it's very important what you're doing, what you've done, and what you're continuing to do.
Thank you.
We're gonna do whatever we can with our platform to put it out there for you.
I appreciate
that
that.
app, everything. I feel everybody needs to know about this.
Yeah. Also, if you have a kid who wants to join karate, it's a great school to go to.
Yeah. If you're local, if you're
local.
listening from India, we have some India listeners.
We do have
India listeners. So if you're from India, you can go on the website.
Yep.
And go ahead and get certified over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
bullyprooflife.com.
bullyprooflife.com.
That's it.
Very cool.
That's the book, the app,
The app,
website.
and the university that launches in March. It's
Yeah.
all going to be under the same brand out there.
Very cool, Val.
Yeah, and we've got, like I said, you've got a pretty good reach here. So in Southern California, we've got 12 locations that stretch all the way from Fontana and Rancho Cucamonga, south to Chino Hills, and as far east as Glendora. I mean, Glendora's as far east as we go. We don't have one in... No, I'm sorry, I lied. God, we have one here in Azusa.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, right up by where the old Foothill Drive-In used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right
the
up
Red
there.
Dragon?
Yeah, Red Dragon School. Right off of Foothill.
Yeah.
Literally almost across the street from the old drive-in theater sign.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Is
it's
that
right
new?
there. No.
Really?
That location's new for him, but that guy, he's one of our original guys. He's been he's been with
cool.
us since that's one of the guys that came out when my dad left from Pennsylvania to come to California because he got tired of cold weather. That's one of the guys that actually came with him.
Oh, wow.
So he's been with us forever.
Wow, that's cool. You got one in Diamond Bar too, right?
Diamond Bar, yes.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I know of that one. Very cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, this was really to me. I was telling people this is gonna be my nostalgia episode.
Yeah. No, it is. Yeah.
Just growing up on that.
Get over here.
Yeah. But thank you, Chris. Thank you for sitting down with us and giving us your time.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. It was great.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And if anybody out there is listening and they want to get a hold of me, that I'm very easy to find on social media. They can follow me on Instagram. It's just my name, Chris Casamassa. Good luck with the spelling. Twitter, Facebook, all that. It's you just type my name in, I'll pop up.
Very
you go.
cool.
All right.
That's it, man.
That's it for the show.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
See you
Guys,
later,
thank you.